Hi, welcome to Gundogs. My name's Dave Mansfield, this is my mate Winston. Thought we'd just do this video today. Things are in a little bit of haywire this morning on my way to a duck shoot. Some car issues. So that's been towed to the workshop. So I thought we'd give you the opportunity to do a video on what's called a double rise retrieve. There is a lot of videos out there at the moment with mark retrieves, wire drills, lining and all that sort of stuff, but I found it very difficult to find anything to teach this particular type of retrieve to your working gun dog. And I think it's an extremely valuable type of concept to have in your tool belt because you never know when you're going to need it. The last 2 years I've had to use it probably half a dozen times. So what is a double rise retrieve? So what we're doing is we're sending the dog back into the same area to pick up another bird. So the dog's got to be learned that when I give a certain command, and you do have to change your command from how you're doing a marked retrieve, they know to go back to that same area and have a look around for another bird. So I just think it's really, you could use it during pheasant drives, you could use it duck shooting, you can use it quail shooting, rough shooting with your spaniels, or duck shooting with your Labradors. I just think it's an extremely valuable tool, and it should be. I'd like to show you guys how I've taught it. I'm not saying it's the only way to teach it, but there's 2 different ways I do teach it, and I haven't had any issues. The only thing I do find with double rise retrieve, you've got to be extremely careful when you're doing other types of retrieves, because the dogs, when they don't find the bird straight away, they will double rise and go back to the same area because they know they have to bring something back. But we'll talk about that during the video and how you can stop that from happening, prevent that from happening. You've got to set up the dog correctly and make sure it's all squared away. All right, let's get to it.
Okay, so this is the first way and the initial way I've taught Winston. One dummy's already out there, throwing another dummy, and here it goes out, picks the first dummy up. I prime him saying as he's coming into me, there's another one out there, mate. And I give him the command, whip him around, one more, he heads back out. Picks up the other dummy. That's the first way. Now this is the second way of teaching it. This time you're throwing 2 dummies into an area. Once again, get him set, get him to watch. Throw the first dummy, watch, throw the second dummy, and then send him on his release command. As he comes back, he knows there's another one out there. So when I get him whip around, go. Now in trialing, you probably don't want the whipping around, but I do a lot of hunting and not a lot of trialing. I do some trialing, so it doesn't bother me, but I'd rather get the birds as quickly as possible back to me in the hide, or back to me as if I'm rough shooting, so we can continue on hunting. So now I've just extended him out. Okay, so once you've done that initial, they've got the commands right, and they're doing it from you just throwing them, you can start extending out the distance. Don't start using any cover, so to speak. Just extend the distance out, so that way you can vary the distance and the dog still can complete the concept. It's about having positive relationship with the concept, positive relationship with you, and a positive and happy training session with you as well. So you don't want to break any confidence in the dog by setting something up that's too difficult. So those little toughies, if I was going to extend it from those throwing, I would start on one side of those tussocks and work my way back, so the dog does not get distracted, especially being a spaniel. They'd like to search that little tuft of grass there to make sure nothing's in there. Okay, so once we're starting to extend ourselves to about 80 metres, then we start introducing some cover and some, what I believe the dogs perceive as barriers, such as little creek lines, roads, bits and pieces. So you introduce these one at a time. So Winston's got to go through cover, then through a little creek, and then through some open ground, and then back into cover. So there's probably 4 or 5 different levels of terrain. For us, it seems very straightforward, but dogs do see sometimes these as barriers. So you need to introduce these one at a time and not all at once. So when he comes back here, as he's approaching me, I'm saying, hey mate, there's another one out there. He comes in about there. And he goes, holy dooly, that was a long run. I've got to do it again. So I go around, slingshot him through. Now he gets through the cover and he stops here. And I give him the same command, one more. Don't give him the back command. What I've found in the past is I've given a back and he'll go 20 meters and then stop and pop again. If I give him the one more command, he goes, oh, that's what we're doing. We're going back to the same spot. So he goes back to the same spot, finds the second bird and brings it back. So if you throwing the dummies into piles or throwing it just with one or two, and you find what's called that the dog is actually shopping around, switching and swapping dummies, I don't think it's a big problem. But if you think it's an issue, then get someone to place the second one after the dog has picked up the first bird. So that's the double rise retrieve. I mean, back indoors now. It's a bit coolish and windy now. It's been a very cool day here today. So a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to go do some duck shooting, but that's all right. We've got something planned tomorrow with Winston. He was keen as mustard this morning, and I was a little bit disappointed when we broke down. So with the double rise, start off small and then extend your distance. Once you've got that extending that distance, bring the distance back and then start introducing things like cover, creek lines, dirt tracks, footpaths. So the dog learns with one distraction at a time. Once the one distraction, then you add 2 distractions, then 3 distractions, and or barriers, as I said on the video. But don't do them all at once, because it's not setting the dog up to be successful, and that's what we want. We want to build that confidence between you and the dog. So the dog goes, he's told me there's something out here and I'm not going to stop until I find it. And jumping steps, making things too hard, testing your dog, having high expectations on the dog, thinking that it should be doing it at this age, is all going to be detrimental to the dog and the bond you have with that dog. So slowly, enjoy your training, enjoy the journey. Like I said, training a gun dog is a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're going to learn something new every day. So start off small in the training paddock and then slowly introduce other areas and different areas to do the concept. All right, enjoy. If you like what you've seen today, please hit the like button and also subscribe if you want to see some more videos. I'm going to do a couple more videos in regards to what I found is what's not out there at the moment, and you can only sort of find out through either going to trials or training with trialers, or training with civic hunters as well. All right, see you later.